to say, I am not looking forward to reviewing this movie game. Not only of separate recordings, this one and the last one because of the sunlight, probably because of poor equipment, but the more I thought about it, the more it really irritated me. But let me ask you something first. Would you rather see a movie based on a novel just because for better reflection, or you're just being critical about it? Truth be told, it could go either way. But during high school, I used to enjoy movies from iTunes before the streaming services actually becomes a harsh reality for entertainment purposes. While there are some great movies out there that I still enjoy, there are some bad movies that I immediately regret to watch them. There are two of them specifically. One of those cases, well, the one I'm looking at today, is Eragon. It's a fantasy movie based on the novel of the same name, written by Christopher Paolini. At first, I thought the movie was just okay. The cast is decent, especially with Jeremy Irons on board for the ride. The CGI and the musical score are surprisingly good as well. But it all came crashing down when the big decision came to mind. When my reading skills have finally gotten better with Audible, not sponsored by any means, I then decided to read the novel that inspired it. And after reading the novel for some time now, I have never been so embarrassed. The novel ended up being better than the movie. I mean, what was Hollywood thinking when this thought came to? And, of course, there are a number of video games to back that up. Strangely though, there are two development teams for the project on separate consoles. One for handheld devices, where the game turned into an RPG, and one for consoles, a hack-and-slash action-adventure game. That is the one we're looking at here today. This version of the game was developed by Stormfront Studios, a popular game company who was responsible for a number of game titles, including a large PC gaming library, because that is what they're best known for. Due to their previous experience with the Two Towers movie game, is this game an easy flight to get by? Or is this gaming experience destined to be burned alive? Learn fast and learn quick, because this is my review of the movie tie-in game, Eragon. Obviously, the game follows the events of the movie. But for those who don't know about the novel at all, the story follows Eragon, a farm boy who was chosen to be a dragon rider. The game features a single-player mode, allowing you to experience the entire story firsthand. But if for any reason you want a friend to play with you, there's a co-op mode as well. While in this mode, try to understand that player 1 has the magic advantage, while player 2 only has regular attack combos. Both players have their sword combos to attack enemies. You can choose to either stun or use heavy attacks, especially on the Orgles, who will give the players and myself a hard time. And that's just on normal difficulty. Both players can also use arrows to their advantage, with unlimited ammo, giving you an option to defeat enemies at a distance. But in all honesty, I can't imagine how frustrating the game will be on the hardest difficulty setting. I'm not a hardcore gamer like some people are, but I can feel what these guys are going through, regretting this choice making their lives more miserable. Throughout the adventure, players will run into checkpoints at random areas. If, for any reason, you run out of health and get a game over, you have the option to restart at the last checkpoint you passed by, or to start the level over again, whichever makes you feel comfortable. There are two types of orbs to obtain and collect throughout the game. The red orbs restore your health bar, while the white orbs store your power meter across the player's status bars. Once both power lines meet, you can unleash your Fury mode, allowing you to increase your strength and double the attack damage for a short time. Very handy against tough opponents who stand in your way. I may have forgotten this too while I was writing the script, but it can also regenerate your magic much more faster than it was regularly. As Eragon Doofus, sorry. Guess this bane of my existence is starting to make me feel angry already the more I actually talk about this. As Eragon, you have magic abilities to use and to fight back. My personal favorite tricks are to push or pull enemies off the ledge and a fire spell causing fire damage to your enemies. Be careful when using magic though. It'll only need a certain amount of time to replenish. The more advanced the spell is, the longer the time the magic needs to restore. In certain areas, you can also call upon Saphira to do some serious damage to the environment, but the trick only works in certain chapters of the game, not throughout the entire experience. And speaking of Saphira, you'll get a chance to fly with her in a few stages. Despite its lack of movement and auto-scrolling levels, you can use her speed mode to go fast for a short time. Plus, you'll be able to shoot fire arrows more freely while running on Saphira. If Saphira's health is too low, look for doves along in your pathway. Those birds restore some of your dragon's health. Guess Saphira isn't the only dragon egg out there, because there are more of them in the gameplay. There are 16 dragon eggs to collect throughout the whole game, one to find in each stage. And yes, it does include the boss battle areas, I did check. Finding one will unlock some bonus features, including some behind the scenes footage, including the main actor sharing his experience in the game's development. Some dragon eggs will also unlock concept art as well, which is my personal favorite. You can tell that Stormfront Studios took a lot of inspiration from making the game. I will admit that it is pretty to look at. Finding all of the dragon eggs is never an easy feat, but once you find them all, as a completion bonus, you'll unlock the final area in the game, Galbatorix's throne room. It's basically an arena challenge with endless waves of enemies, just to see how far you could go without dying. Finally some value here! But why it had to be a movie game though? I know this is sort of like off track, but hear me out on this one. Only in the Xbox 360 version of the game, there are 2 additional levels to play. Flight from Gilead and Ruins of Orthiad? I really hope I pronounced that right. For what I understand, these levels are more inspired by the novel than it was from the movie, which is interesting to me, because considering how mediocre the game truly is, I can see why most people would prefer that part of a shenanigan bollock more often. Surprisingly, the best level for me is the Misty Gorge. The level design is just beautiful to look at, with a right amount of challenge to it. The peacefulness, the quiet suspense. I honestly felt that this is something that I would revisit over and over again. Oh boy. Finding Durza personally feels more annoying than anything else. The final boss battle against him was a tad irritating, but reaching up to him in his fortress, that's a serious mistake. This is the worst level for me, due to the amount of stress it builds. The level itself took way too long to complete, and the Durza boss battle at the top grinds my patience to a crawl. I don't recommend taking on this level with a hot-headed temper, otherwise a rage quit might pop up before anyone else do it. Oh, we know that Eragon is bad, plain and simple. But the inspiration for what Stormfront Studios took from the movie and the novel somehow works. A lot of creativity worked out better than I expected, but I am somewhat jealous that the game wasn't completed without the 2 levels previously mentioned before. Was it because of the game storage? I honestly have no clue, but from what I experienced from the PS2 port, it was pretty good. A set of magic skills on the game's part was an interesting choice. I like the fact that the game expands on what the character's potential is like. On one point, you have a shield dome to protect yourself, which I didn't use too much in my playthrough. In another, you have a magic arrow trick called Brazinger, which is the very first magic trick that Eragon actually learned in the novel. it's nice that the developers try to be creative on one's magic capability. The level design is truly something that people overlooked. Obviously, people would see that this is bland and generic, but I don't seem to share the same opinion as everyone else who have played it before. One advantage that the level design got right was the art direction. I'm honestly surprised that the developers tried to create something visually stunning, and it works so well. It might be a pretty looking mess of a game, but people have their own opinion about this thing, and that's fine. For the most part, the gameplay functions how it's supposed to be. A simple hack and slash video game can't be that difficult, and in terms of gameplay, that can't be far from the truth. Oh man, I knew this would definitely happen! Unfortunately, this tie-in game suffered from some crucial problems. From the game about a dragon rider, I wouldn't expect Eric Bongo of all people to be successful in life. Like, he should be better than this. Sorry, getting off track. Okay, back on subject here. The Dragonflight levels seem to be lacking functionality. Despite the auto-scrolling choice for these kinds of levels, which is a bad choice in my opinion, it still leaves much to be desired. And that's honestly a big shame. In some levels, including Derrick Bridge, the difficulty searches suddenly spiked to a certain degree. I didn't change the difficulty to easy during my playthrough, because I know this game is a good enough challenge as it is. But at times, the difficulty settings are pushed to their limits, especially on tasks and enemies that will ensure that you quit. And speaking of being pushed to the limits, the Argos are just annoying to take down. It's like they know the invincibility frames and constantly pushing me to the ground. Unless you have another player to help you, or know your magic skills to push them back, you're in for a hard time playing this game. Yeah, I know. I've been really harsh about this whole thing throughout the review. Maybe because the movie is just driving me nuts. However, does this console version hold up? Some part of me want to bash it, others say it's just okay, but you know what? You'll be the judge. To be clear, this is a movie game that is a complicated title to pinpoint. While the gameplay being notoriously frustrating, the inspiration behind this one feels definitely real. And I don't know if I should feel sorry for this wasted potential. If it deserves a rematch treatment, I'll most certainly look into the handheld version for comparison. For now though, casual players should skip this console version. As a game for teenagers, it'll only wasting your time and patience. Otherwise, it's ultimately up to you whether they want to explore the creative process behind this one.
Not bad, young Dragon Rider. There may be hope for you yet.
I guess we all know the moral lesson of the story here. If the movie is not faithful to the source material, just stick to the books. And speaking of stories, there are now reports that the inheritance cycle is now being adapted into Disney Plus, with the original Arthur helping out. That may be the only good sign around here. But until that happens, yeah, I just can't say anything else except read the books. I mean, if you can't read, that's fine. Just find an audiobook if you have to. But hopefully things will turn around, because next time we're going back into anime territory. No, I am not covering Naruto just yet. But we are going to look into something that I am more familiar with. And let's just say there's more to this game than meets the eye. In the meantime, yeah, I'm really starving right now. I really need to get my breakfast going. Thanks again for watching, and have yourselves a good day.